Alrighty, sports fans, we are going to be talking about the Heel-O-Matic. This is the ground-driven trainer. This is the machine that I do have at my house. You've seen me rope in the Drew Stew videos, and like I said before, I've worked with these guys for a number of years, and they have. I haven't been at the office with them for a few years. They've done a lot of upgrades to these machines that are even new to me. There's a lot of things on this that I haven't even roped before. So the coolest thing about the Heel-O-Matic is the lifelike body. The size of the steer is about the exact same size as a nice little Coriani steer. Just little things. When you're talking about hauling one around, the Heel-O-Matic is pretty easy to haul around. It's not real big, and I can say this unbiased because I loaded all three of these machines on a trailer by myself yesterday. And doing that by myself, well, I had a guy's girlfriend help me load the other one, and so I loaded it kind of by myself. But I'm just kidding, she was a lot of help, and I hope you're not watching this. But anyway, the thing about hauling a Heel-O-Matic, like we had those on a flatbed trailer, and then I threw this in the back of a truck. And you can turn the body around, you pull the tongue off with 2 bolts, it's real easy. So that makes it kind of easy. Even if you're hauling it in a horse trailer, you can just throw it in the back of a horse trailer behind the four-wheeler if you have a big enough horse trailer. So that's kind of convenient. We're talking just about hauling one to somebody's arena. How important is that? I don't know. It makes it nice when you got to haul one somewhere. So there's that. Now the actual cosmetics of the Heel-O-Matic, all rotational molded plastic. They're gonna last. All these machines are like that. They're gonna last a long time. They're all made out of steel. Rotational molded body. These are injected molded horns. They're solid horns, and so you know it's going to be a tough machine all the way around. One of the things about the Heel-O-Matic that's brand new that I haven't roped yet that is a really good idea and a great thing is the tongue on the Heel-O-Matic. It's the new spring-loaded tongue. The whole reason for that is just take that jerk a little bit when you go to heel on your horse, you know, so you dally and you lock off. You don't want to just hit that four-wheeler every single time. And there was a way that I had a machine set up at my house a long time ago that had actually, it was a trainer like this, but it had a front wheel assembly on it, and then I had an inner tube that was tied on it and then to the four-wheeler, just so that when I dally on that machine, it'd give my horse a chance to kind of stop instead of just take that hit. It's easier on your horse, lets them last longer, and still teaches them to get in the ground and allows you to keep practicing your dally. Because heeling, if you're not practicing your dally, that's like jacking one in the chamber and never pulling the trigger, man. You've got to practice your dallying if you're going to be a heeler. So the spring-loaded tongue Heel-O-Matic that's a must if you ask me. You've got to have some give right there. The front of the tongue has adjustable. Everybody's got a different kind of quad or four-wheeler or Polaris or whatever you have, a side-by-side. So different heights right there, so you can hook it up to a four-wheeler of any different height or any kind of towing vehicle that you have. So that's pretty handy too. The one thing about the Heel-O-Matic that a lot of times people say is a negative, and I guess I personally don't understand it, and I'll explain why, is that this dummy's not made to be pulled by a horse. People compare it to the Hot Heels or the Time Machine or whatever and say, well, it's you know, you can pull ours with a horse. I don't want to pull it with a horse, because if you're going to log these machines or log a horse on these machines, everybody's like, yeah, we can log them. You are not going to be logging them correctly to teach your horse to face up. You might want to pull them around just to get your horse built up on muscle. That's fine, but all three of these machines are too heavy to log and work on your horse facing up. So I'll just get that right out there. I don't care if that's a Heel-O-Matic, a Hot Heels, or Big Red over there, the Time Machine. They're all too heavy to log and teach your horse to side pass. You may be able to do it for a couple minutes, but you're going to wear them out. Now, if you just want to latch onto them and get your horse dripping with muscle and have that rope right over the top of your leg and over your horse's butt, then you can latch on to any of these and pull them around just as dead weight, but you're not going to be doing yourself or your horse any good when it comes to facing up. So that's one thing that I know I've heard about the Heel-O-Matic, that, well, it wasn't built to pull with a horse, it was built to pull with a four-wheeler. So Good, bad, indifferent, I don't know. I'm never going to pull any of these machines with a horse anyway, except to get it out of my way. So with that being said, you go right into the one thing about all three of these machines is they all have a hopping, motion, stride, whatever you want to call it. They all try to mimic a steer in tow. So the Heel-O-Matic has 3 different pulleys, and those 3 different pulleys allow for 3 different speeds, and which really and truly means you have infinite speeds of the hop. So you don't just have 9 or 6 or 3 or 17, you have a bajillion, and a bajillion is a number. If you went to school in Montana, it's a real number and it means a lot. And so with the 3 different speeds of pulleys, it allows you to do a few things. And the main thing that it does, it allows you to work on you at different speeds on your horse. Sometimes you're going to get steers that really haul down the arena, but are big and old. They're covering a lot of country, but they're hopping really big and slow. So you want to open the stride of this thing up a little bit like a steer does. If you put it on that big pulley, the bigger the pulley, the faster the hop. It's just kind of the opposite of what you think. But on the big pulley, this thing's going to hop real fast. So if you know you're going to be going to a U.S. Open, a World Series, you're going to go breaking in steers, and they're really hopping fast, then you might want to do that. So that's great. It allows you a bunch of different things. The other thing, and it doesn't matter if it's this machine or the other 2, is working your horses at a trot is probably the absolute best thing you can do. And if you're working horses constantly at a trot and you still want to get in time and not just swing real slow and not have anything on it, or swing once every 3rd jump, well, if you put it on and it's hopping a little bit faster when you're at a trot, it's going to allow you to get a little bit of practice as well as keep your horse in a trot and get everything right. So that's just a side note. We'll do a Drew Stew video about practicing in a trot because that's muy importante. So anyway, the quick release head on the Heel-O-Matic, all of these has quick release heads. It's for you headers to make sure that you can, when you rope and dally, your rope's going to pop off. The Heel-O-Matic, it turns to the left. It's got spring loaded. And like I said, it pops off. It is much easier to have it pop off over here when you're in good position than if you're on the right-hand side or on the other side of the steer. And albeit that the other machines, your rope will pop off when you're out of position better, I don't ever want to be out of position. I want my horse in position, so therefore my rope should never be popping off on the other side anyway. So if you get in a bind or something, yeah, it's kind of handy, but it's made to pop off at an angle like this where your horse is in the right position. The neck assembly on the Heel-O-Matic, this is one thing that I probably do that I am partial to as a header, is although all of them are plastic, the Hot Heels has a little bit of carpet over it, but all of them allow a little bit for rope to slide and not feel like it does on a steer. So on any of these machines, when you head them, they're all going to feel not like you're roping a real steer sometimes heading. But what I do like is this is about the same width as a head. It kind of comes up like it does. Yeah, there's a spot where maybe your rope can get caught in, but your rope's usually going to be hitting kind of underneath here. I like the way that this dummy fits when it comes to head, and it's kind of a little bit more realistic. If you want to take it one step further, you put a horn wrap on this thing, and what it does is it allows for a little bit more grab, let your head horse kind of feel the dummy a little bit. Some guys say, well, I want that rope to pop right off. I don't. I want my rope to stay on there and allow me to ride my horse a little bit and then pop it off. And sometimes I want that horse to feel a little bit, so I'll put a horn wrap on there and it just makes it feel a little bit better. So really like the way that the head is. It's kind of more realistic. The best thing to do on any of these would just be to completely carpet it and have them all really carpeted up, make it feel just like a real head and dummy. But this dang sure feels good. Coming back to the business end of the Heel-O-Matic, because it is called a Heel-O-Matic, the Heel-O-Matic does kind of make a circular motion, and that circular motion is kind of like this. As the steer's hip comes up, then the legs are going to go forward. I think I might be able to show it here. The hips are going to come up, the legs are going to go forward, the hips are going to come back down. You're getting a lot of rock because it's rocking. And then it's going to, when it gets down to the stride, then it's going to be a low butt, just like the feet are on the ground. That steer's going to push off, his hips are going to come up, and it's going to make that circular motion. And you know, there's is patented hop, patented stride. The steers hop in a circle, the steers hop in a straight line. Steers that are running down the pin hop different than steers that are in tow. So we'll kind of get to that once we get on a horse. But the Heel-O-Matic allows for you to dally. It's got what's called a dally kit in between the feet here. And so you can hit this sucker as hard as you want. This new one, and I haven't roped these yet, and I think they're pretty cool. They're a foam leg. They're not a hard plastic. They're a high density foam. And what they allow for is they take that whack away when your rope hits it. So you're going to be able to kind of feel that rope a little bit more. It's going to grab a little bit. They're probably a little bit more forgiving. You do see people dally on a leg on these once in a while, and it'll be a little more forgiving there. But you can hit these things as hard as you can. Some other things like maintenance in that, every one of these machines has packed and sealed bearings, that's good. It takes the maintenance out of it. You're not really going to have to worry about greasing them very much. There are some spots on all of these machines that you can throw some grease, or if it's a moving spot, hit it with WD-40 once in a while. You know, it keeps it going. So, but everything's packed. It's easy to change the belt for the 3 pulleys. It's got a little deal, you pull a pin on it. Real simple. Pretty much all the machines are that way. They're all pretty simple to pull the belts. I'm not really going to get into that because it's all pretty self-explanatory, but those are kind of the features of the Heel-O-Matic. Good legs, hop, pulls good. I was going to get one of those weight deals to see what the actual pulling was on a Heel-O-Matic, but I think I can honestly say this just from pulling these machines in here on the 4-wheeler. This machine pulls the lightest out of all of them. We've got just a 2-wheel drive 4-wheeler here with us today, so this machine pulls pretty light. You can use it with the one I have at my house. We pull it with a 2-wheel drive 4-wheeler all the time. So whether that's, you know, it's kind of important if it's in your budget, but that's kind of the Heel-O-Matic in a nutshell. I would say if I had to pick one thing that I really love about the Heel-O-Matic, I would say it's the head inside of it, and the way the rope goes on the head. On the heel inside, I like the timing action of it a lot, and we'll see that in a little bit. So great solid machine. When you get it, they're easy to put together. Usually you've only got to put a couple of bolts in. A lot of times when they ship them backwards. There's one bolt that goes through down in here, and they're flipped around. You lift it up, flip it around, set it up like this, put the belt on, and go rope. So pretty easy. And I think they're calling this the new, is it the Ultimate? Got a camera guy that knows what he's talking about. It's the new Heel-O-Matic Ultimate. So spring-loaded tongue, foam legs, hook it up to the 4-wheeler and get it on. So that's the Heel-O-Matic.